Hey guys, nice to see you again. Welcome to lesson number 14 of the Max Sensei's online lessons, episode 14. And today we are going to focus on one of my favorite topics. I think you guys know I love history. And after coming to Japan, I started focusing more on American history. When I lived in America, I really liked European and Japanese history. After coming to Japan, I started to kind of miss America, and I started appreciating a lot of American historical things and historical events and culture and so on. So today we are going to focus on American history and specifically American presidents. So recently we had a big election. We had Trump versus Biden. It's kind of still continuing even now, although it looks like Biden is going to become president. But Trump is fighting hard to try to keep his presidency. We'll see what happens. But I want to talk about some of the most influential presidents in United States history. And we're going to focus on presidents from a really long time ago, and just a couple inspiring or influential things they did. So, of course, click the link, read the blog, and I'm going to read my blog with you guys. So let's start. Influential U.S. presidents. The word influential means having great influence on someone or something. An influential person is someone who has influenced many people and continues to have meaning years after they pass away. In the world of American politics, there are a few presidents that are considered the most influential, and the things they have done while they were in office have lasting effects on America and the world. Here are a few influential presidents and the important things they did while in office. Number one is Abraham Lincoln. He was president between 1861 and 1865. If you notice, that's just a little, around 4 years. I think it was a little less than 4 years. And well, we all know the reason why. Lincoln was the president during the most divided time in American history, the Civil War. He was in charge of America during the 4 years of battles between the North and the South. And after that, he helped unify the South with the North again. Without Lincoln, America would be a completely different country than it is today. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to see the change that he helped create, because he was assassinated in Washington, D.C. at a theater only 2 weeks before the official end of the Civil War. Another interesting fact about Abe Lincoln is that 20 years before he became president, Lincoln and his friend William Barry opened a bar called Barry and Lincoln in Illinois. Lincoln was a bartender, and his drinks were a reasonable price. It was 25 cents, so only about 25 yen, for a glass of wine, 18 cents for rum, and 12 cents for whiskey. The bar wasn't successful, though, because Barry was an alcoholic and drank too much of the bar's alcohol, and so the bar went out of business. That's too bad. Our second is Franklin Delano Roosevelt, or FDR for short. He was president from 1933 to 1945. Some very, very very important world events happening during that time. Let's look at what he did that was influential. He is the longest president in the United States, the longest standing president in the United States, and oversaw the events of World War II. He was elected during the Great Depression and is praised for the creation of many programs that helped poor people in America. One of the main programs he started was Social Security, which is a program that gives financial protection to Americans after they retire. Japan has a similar pension system based off of the Social Security program that FDR created. Also, because of America's success during World War II, the US became a world leader, which continues to this day. These were thanks to Mr. Roosevelt. And number 3 is actually a relative of FDR, Theodore Roosevelt. He was president from 1901 until 1909. Okay, so let's go back in time a little and talk about a distant relative of Franklin Roosevelt. This is Theodore Roosevelt. Let's look at the wonderful things that Theodore did during his presidency. He did a lot for the American people, and he seemed to care about the well-being of the average citizen. He made a lot of rules controlling the spread of huge companies and corporations. He made sure that small businesses could still be successful and broke up monopolies like the railroad companies and oil companies. He also created the Food and Drug Administration, which is a government group that checks the quality of food and drugs to make sure they are safe for everyone. But probably one of the best things Theodore Roosevelt did for America is creating the national parks. Not only that, but he established the United States Forest Service, which protects 150 national forests, as well as bird reserves, game preserves, and national monuments as well. He was a conservationist who was worried about protecting nature. A lot of the beautiful nature in America, which exists today, we can enjoy because of the laws created by Mr. Roosevelt. Okay, these are just 3 examples of the great things past American presidents have done, but there are many more. Maybe in the future, there will be a part 2 for this topic. Let's look forward to what the future presidents of the United States can do, and let's hope they can be inspiring and influential as these 3 examples. All right, that's all for the blog. There are some vocabulary words and discussion questions I want to go over, but let's just talk a moment about these 3 amazing presidents. We have Abraham Lincoln, who helped America unite after the Civil War. He also freed Black people from slavery, one of the best things that could be done at that time. I know slavery is a really black mark on American history, and Abraham Lincoln saw how bad it was, and he helped to free the slaves and help create a unified America again. FDR, the president during World War II, and he helped create a lot of social programs for average American citizens. He also helped create Social Security so that after people retire, they can really still get a salary and take care of themselves. And of course, one of my favorite presidents was Theodore Roosevelt, who created the parks system. As you know, my family goes to Yosemite once a year, and that was one of the first national parks that Theodore Roosevelt created. In fact, Theodore Roosevelt visited Yosemite Valley with a famous writer named John Muir, and John Muir showed him Yosemite Valley, and Theodore Roosevelt was awestruck. He thought it was amazing. And I think that maybe gave Theodore Roosevelt the inspiration to create the national parks. That's kind of my image, my thinking. He saw the beauty and wonderful of Yosemite Valley, and he thought, we must protect these forests, and he created the national parks. I don't know if that's true. That's just my imagination. All right, let's look at the vocab words. I'm going to put them up on the screen. So we have 5 vocab words, 5 discussion questions. Let's go over our vocab words first. Our first word is influential. Influential means having great influence on someone or something. So we talked about influential presidents, and these influential people have great influence on someone. They are remembered for how much they change and inspire. Next word is assassinated. Assassinated is a murder of an important person for political reasons. Okay, I think it must be for political reasons. Otherwise, we just say murder. Okay, the next word is oversaw. Oversaw. To oversee something or oversaw is to supervise, watch, and manage someone or something. So, overseeing a project or overseeing the creation of a law means that you are kind of the manager. You supervise the situation. Pension. All right. I think many of you guys know this word. After you retire, you receive a salary. That is your pension. It's a regular payment made during a person's retirement, a pension. And finally, we have monopoly. Monopoly. It's not just a board game, but there's a real meaning behind monopoly. It means a company or group having exclusive control over a commodity or service. So in America, the railroad company or the oil companies, they controlled all the railroads, all the oil. And many people thought this was a bad idea. If someone owns the entire service, then they can charge any price and nobody can do anything about it. Actually, monopolies are becoming a current problem again because of companies like Amazon and other big companies like Eon and Walmart and other very major corporations. They are controlling the price of things and they are not letting other companies sort of make a reasonable price and it's hurting average citizens buying things. Also, I saw one more word in the article. It's talking about Theodore Roosevelt as a conservationist. This might be an interesting word for you guys to study. Conservation, to conserve or to protect something. So a conservationist is someone who protects nature. A conservationist is someone who cares about the environment and tries to protect the environment and nature. So a current conservationist is somebody like Greta Thunberg, who is a young woman in the Netherlands who is trying to sort of protect nature by doing a lot of speeches at important public places. All right, let's look at our 5 discussion questions now. Our first question is, out of the 3 examples, which one do you think is the most influential? So Abraham Lincoln, FDR, or Theodore Roosevelt? Who do you guys think was the most influential? Not who you liked the most, just who do you think is most influential? Who had the biggest impact, okay? Remember, influential means having great influence on someone or something. So out of the 3 examples, who do you think is the most influential? All right, the next question. Tell me about one of the leaders of your country. What did they do that was inspiring or influential? So tell me about one of the leaders in your country. It could be a prime minister. It could be a king, an emperor, or so on. Just any kind of political or religious or sort of reigning leader, and what did they do, and what do they do that's inspiring or influential? And finally, number 3 is, what US president do you know, and what did they do? So can you tell me, so in number 2, you told me of a leader of your country. Can you tell me about a US leader, and do you know what they did? What did they do? What do you like? Who do you like? What did they do? And so on. Number 4, have you ever been a leader of anything? What were you in charge of? Now, of course, I know I don't have many presidents or emperors or kings listening to my YouTube video, but I'm sure some of you might be in charge of a smaller group or in charge of a kind of small event, or even just one of the leaders of your group of friends, and you plan some fun activities for you guys. So just tell me about something that you have been a leader of and what were you in charge of? And the last question is, do you like studying about world history or politics? Why or why not? So, as you know, one of my favorite topics is world history, and I especially like, European history, American history, Japanese history, and I think politics are interesting too, although it can be a little frustrating studying politics or talking about politics. So, I want to know what you guys' opinions are. All right, that's going to be all from this lesson. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for joining in the conversation, and I look forward to hearing your answers anytime you want to send me an email, comment on this YouTube video, or send me a line message or anything like that. I'll be sure to get back to you and respond. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye.